So my sincerest apologies if you guys can hear that car. I'm not sure if that's my dad or if that's one of my neighbors or whatever. I don't know what the heck they're doing, but please try to ignore that. But hey there, morbid maniacs. It's time for another spooky video, a part of Vlogtober. And for tonight's spooky video, we're going to be talking all about the Bell Witch. Now, for those of you who are unaware, the Bell Witch is actually what inspired the Blair Witch Project, and this video was also requested by one of my good friends here on YouTube, whose name is Ken, I believe. I believe he was the one who requested this video. I could be wrong, and I'm sorry if it wasn't. But yeah, let's get started. So John Bell was a farmer from North Carolina and settled into this 300-acre land, which laid along the Red River with his wife and children in 1804. This area of land is now known as Adams, Tennessee. They lived there peacefully for 13 years. It all started in 1817. It began with strange sounds such as poundings on the doors, chains rattling, smacks on the walls. The family would also hear gulping and choking sounds in their home. One day, John Bell was inspecting his cornfield when he noticed a strange creature sitting in the middle of one of the corn rows. This creature was said to have the body of a dog, but the head of a rabbit. He thought nothing of this at first. That was until after dinner. Now, how can you think nothing of this? Like, oh, I just seen a creature that had the body of a dog but the head of a rabbit, but I'm not going to think anything of it? Like, what the hell? That evening, the Bells would begin hearing banging sounds on the outside walls of their home. The mysterious sounds would increase and get worse and louder each night. The Bells would often hurry outside to catch the culprit, but would be left with nothing. Weeks later, the Bell children would wake up afraid in the middle of the night, complaining that rats were gnawing at their bedposts. And each time the family searched their home, they could not find any rats or mice or any source for these noises. Not long after that, the children began experiencing their bed covers being lifted from them at night, and their pillows would just be thrown onto the floor by some unseen force. The Bells then began experiencing these faint whisper sounds, which were too weak to actually understand. However, these voices sounded like a feeble old woman which was singing hymns. It then escalated to physical abuse. The youngest daughter, Betsy, would have her hair pulled, would be beaten, stuck with needles, pinched, and this would often leave whelps, handprints, and bruises on her face and body. For over a year, John Bell kept all of these paranormal events which were happening to him and his family a secret. Eventually, it got so bad that he decided to confide in a neighbor whose name was James Johnson. He invited his neighbor and his wife over to their home to spend the night. After several nights there, experiencing the same happenings as the Bells, James suggested that more people should know about this. A committee was then formed and an investigation on the Bell home began. It wasn't long before people from all over were traveling to the Bell home to see and witness this evil force for themselves. One of the Bell's slaves had even claimed to have witnessed the witch for himself. He claimed that it would appear to him frequently in the form of a black dog or wolf, sometimes with 2 heads and sometimes with no head at all. He also claimed that it turned into a mule at one point and attacked him several times. The entity's voice strengthened over time and became more loud and unmistakable. It gave different identities. It sang hymns, quoted scriptures from the Bible, held intelligent conversation, could talk about people's past and present, and could seemingly be in 2 places at once, which were miles apart. It once stated that it was a witch of a neighbor of the Bells known as Kate Batts, who John Bell had some bad business dealings with. The entity from that point on was referred to as Kate. 3 of John's sons had fought under General Andrew Jackson. Mr. Jackson had heard of the story of the Bell home and became so intrigued by this that he decided to stop by for himself. His entourage consisted of several men, well-groomed horses, and a wagon. As they approached the Bell property, the wagon stopped and the horses could not pull it any further. The witch taunted his men, held the carriage wheels still, and called out frauds upon Andrew Jackson's entourage until they were all seen in a field the next morning headed towards Nashville. Over the next 3 years, Kate tormented the Bell family almost daily. John began suffering from swelling in his throat and complained of the feeling of a stick being stuck sideways into it. He also experienced an odd twitching and jerking on his face. Kate would yell curses and hideous threats at John during these episodes. As time went on, John Bell's health grew even weaker, at which point he was confined to his home, where any time he would try to walk, the entity known as Kate would remove his shoes. She was also known to slap him in the face during seizures. She would curse and chastise this poor man as Old Jack Bell, which she often referred to him as. John Bell passed away on December 20th, 1820. It was believed that he was actually poisoned by Kate when a vial of poison was found. John Bell Jr. had supposedly given some of this liquid which was in this vial to their cat the night before, and it died instantly. The entity then spoke out, saying,
"I gave old Jack a big dose of that last night, which fixed him."
John Jr. quickly threw this vial into the fireplace, where it turned into a bright bluish flame and shot up the chimney. Over time, Betsy Bell became very interested in Joshua Gardner, who was a young man that did not live that far from them. And with the blessing from their parents, the two decided to marry. For unknown reasons, this entity did not want these two to get married. It was during this time that Betsy and Joshua's former school teacher by the name of Robert Powell grew noticeably interested in Betsy and had plans of marrying her when she got older. He was supposedly courting with a woman who he was married to in Nashville whenever he expressed his love interest in Betsy. He had then expressed his disappointment and went on to wish her a long, prosperous life with Joshua. Betsy and Josh could not go to the cave, the field, or to the river without this entity following them and taunting them. Their patience finally broke on Easter Monday of 1821 when Betsy called off the engagement. The disturbances would then decrease. Kate then bid everyone farewell and promised to return in 7 years. And she did return in 1828 for a few short weeks. During this visit, she came to the home of John Bell Jr., where they spoke about the past, the present, and the future, and she even made some predictions about the future. Kate also said that there was a reason for John's death, however, she did not explain what that reason was. After her next visit, she said that she would return in 107 years. But some believe that Kate never left that area at all. To this day, people report hearing sounds of people talking and children laughing, as well as candle lights which dance in the darkness in the fields late at night. They've also experienced mists, orbs of light, and other phenomena such as human-like figures which were not present whenever photos were taken. The cave nearby, although having zero significance to the Bell home, has also become a focal point for visitors. It was added to the National Historic Registry in 2008. It's said that the cave itself has also had some eerie experiences surrounding it, such as the inability to take a photo of that area. There have been many books written about this famous witch of Tennessee, and the legend of the Bell Witch is still taught today in schools. The legend has also grew to be a part of many horror movie inspirations, such as The Sixth Sense, The Blair Witch Project, and American Haunting. And probably one of the most compelling things about the story of the Bell Witch is that, unlike many other paranormal stories, this one's actually backed up by many different eyewitnesses. So there you guys go. There was the legend of the Bell Witch. What do you guys think of this creepy story? I find it really terrifying, and to me it's actually scarier than the Blair Witch Project movie. I didn't find that movie scary at all. I've never seen the remake, but I'm talking about the old, like, 90s version or whatever. I never found that version scary at all. But the story, the actual story that movie was based upon, is terrifying. But what do you guys think? And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big ol' thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and become Morbid Maniac. And if you are new to my channel, hello, my name is Melanie, and I post creepy content all throughout the year, but for the month of October I will be posting 31 exact creepy videos just for your enjoyment, so be sure that you stick around so you don't miss any of that. Also, I pre-filmed a lot of my Vlogtober content before I made my account on there, but I did make an OnlyFans account, so if you are interested in any of my sexier content, be sure that you go over there and subscribe for a small price. You don't want to miss out on any of that, and I will see you guys in the next video.